Yes, thank you. And again, thank you all for joining us. We have now been joined by Erik Jones, driver of the number 20 DeWalt Thank You Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing, in advance of this weekend's race at Darlington Raceway. We will now go to questions once again. We do ask that you hold your question to one at a time, and we will be sure to have time for follow-ups. We'll call on you again. So with that, we'll go to questions to the media.
And we'll take our first question from Lee Spencer with RacingBoys.com.
Thank you, and Erik, thank you for joining us today. I was just kind of curious, what have you done to keep physically in shape to prepare for the upcoming races?
Well, I mean, that's been one of the hardest parts, right? I mean, in general, we all try to keep ourselves in good shape, but at the same time, a lot of our workout just comes from, being in the car. There's so many muscles you can't really work out that you're using the race car and different, in the seated position that we're in and what muscles we're using during the race. So it's tough. A lot of it, I hope, has been just working around the house. I mean, I've been here really busy. I moved, right before Atlanta, and I've been working like crazy outside pretty much every day. So been hoping that's going to keep me in shape and, doing normal workout as well with that. And really at the end of the day, you got to kind of, get back in the race car and get back into racing shape as well. As much as you're in shape out of it, there's still, I believe, kind of a racing shape that you have to be in as well.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Dustin Albano with FrontStretch.com.
Hey, Erik, just curious, what's your interaction been like with Chris Gao over the past 8 weeks or so?
A lot over phone. I haven't seen Chris since Atlanta, which is really odd. I don't know if I've ever gone that long without seeing Chris in the last, 4 years. So it's a different normal. Obviously, the communication has been ramped up a lot more in the last 2 weeks with them getting back to work at JGR and getting obviously ready for Darlington this weekend. So I've definitely talked a lot with him this week and last week of just trying to get prepared and what the plan is, what the protocols are, things that we have to go through that are going to be different this weekend than what, a normal weekend would bring for us. So I've been talking to him a ton, not only Chris, but my engineers as well. I was in the Toyota simulator Monday, just trying to get a feel for the car again, working on what our, what we're going to unload with and race with. So trying to work with them as much as I can and do the things that we can to, help for the weekend. It's definitely a different, communication than what's normal, but I have been talking to him quite a bit.
Thanks.
We'll go next to Greg Engel with Drive Tribe.
Hey, Erik. Welcome back. But as you go into Sunday, you said you were on the simulator and stuff. With no practice or anything, I mean, there's a chance this could be a disaster, especially starting out. And you and NASCAR is on a nationwide and in some respects even a world stage. So how much pressure is it not to screw it up, especially, say, during the first stage?
Yeah, I mean, I think that pressure is there every weekend that we're racing, whether it's this weekend at Darlington, which is a unique situation. We haven't raced in 2 months and we don't have any practice or qualifying. So at the same time, all 40 of us are some of the best drivers in the world. I mean, we wouldn't be in the Cup Series if, we weren't capable of being there. So obviously you're going to be a little bit rusty when you hop back in. And I think, though, in your mind, you use caution, right? I mean, you can't just barrel off into turn one wide open on the first lap after being, on a dry run, basically. So the caution's going to be there, and guys are going to be, trying to settle in and find their groove. Darlington's not an easy racetrack, and especially when it's green, it's dusty and dirty and sandy around that area. The track's going to take a long time to get cleaned up. So I think everybody's just going to kind of take it easy till that first competition yellow and ride and figure out what their car's got and go from there. And we know that we're on a big stage this weekend, right? There's not really any other sports out there. I know UFC's back, but we have a huge opportunity on Sunday, to bring a new group of fans in and people that maybe have never watched NASCAR to tune in this weekend and, give them the opinion to put on a good show. And hopefully they think, hey, this is pretty neat. I think I could watch this again. So that's all in our minds. And the pressure is there to keep it clean and put on a good show for them.
Thanks, friend. Have fun this Sunday.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Dustin Long, NBC Sports.
Yeah, Eric, can you talk about just describe the challenges? I mean, I look at it, and I know you guys are the best, but I mean, as you know, it's a green track. It's not being in the car in 2 months. It's 90-degree weather. It's the track changing. It's this is supposed to be the track with the most difficult pit entry, and you guys will not have had a chance to practice that. You may have to do that under green. Even for the best drivers, what kind of a challenge is all of this? How do you work your way through all that while competing and racing and trying to stay up the front, not lose positions or time?
Oh, it is tough. There's a lot of things other than just racing, like you mentioned. During Sunday, you have to have green flag pit stops, getting in and out of the pit box. All those things. There's little nuances that as the year goes, you just naturally do, and a lot of things that you probably don't think about when you've been out of the car this long. How a car's driving traffic, how you navigate certain traffic situations, how to keep yourself out of bad spots. It's a bunch of little things that maybe you don't always think about when you've been out of the car this long. So you have to watch a lot of film and really try to just remember those things and what you did during that time to be competitive, but also not put yourself in bad spots. So it's not easy. I mean, I think it's kind of like riding a bike for a lot of us. As we get going, things will start to click for everybody, and you'll remember things that you should do or shouldn't do, I guess, more than that. So I don't know. It's unique. None of us have been out of a car for this long, probably since most of us have ever started racing, however long ago that was for anybody. So it's going to be a pretty unique situation.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Jeff Gluck with The Athletic. One moment, please.
Can you hear me now? Sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Eric, I'm wondering if you have a sense for what the lead up to the race might be like. I mean, you're going to be sitting in your motorhomes. They're going to call you out. You're going to walk, no fans and, a quiet track and just go get in your car. Like, what do you think that whole experience and the build up is going to be like compared to a normal race day morning?
Well, it's going to be different. I mean, that's the easiest way to put it. But so many, we normally have such a routine, right? I mean, every driver's is a little bit different, but, not normally wake up, do your appearances, and then come back, do the driver's meeting, eat lunch, get, 20, 30 minutes to kind of relax by yourself and think about the day and what you're going to have to do. And then you go, intros and go race. And, with what we've got now, it's going to be you all by yourself at the track, which is unique in itself. I don't know that I've ever just went to the racetrack, by myself to race without either, family, friends, or, even motorhome drivers, is normally there if nobody else is there. So that's going to be really unique. Walking out to the grid and just hopping in the car. There's not really going to be anybody by the car, other than us and maybe the interior guy, I guess, to help us get the window net up. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be odd and it's going to be unprecedented in what we've always done. So, weird feeling. I mean, a new normal for right now and what we normally are used to. But, hey, I mean, as long as we're getting to race, I think, most of us can manage to find a new normal for a little while.
Thank you.
We'll take our next question from Bob Pockris with Fox Sports.
Yeah, Eric, I'm curious, just how confident do you think NASCAR can pull this off without anybody getting the virus? And are you confident in the procedures if somebody does get the virus that the sport can continue with just quarantining those who they feel had contact with that person?
I feel good about it right now. Obviously, we haven't done it yet, right? We haven't been to the track yet and seen what the protocols are like. I know NASCAR has worked, not to sound like a PR guy for NASCAR, but day in and day out, the last couple of months trying to just get us back to the racetrack and trying to rework the schedule, working with states and what they've got to get opened up and get us to the racetrack and be safe. And I mean, we're doing, from my opinion, everything we can. I don't know what else we could possibly do to be, any safer with what's going on right now than what we are. As far as if somebody did get sick, probably above my pay grade. But, I think they've got a plan in place for that. We wouldn't go back racing if we didn't have a plan in place for, a situation where somebody did test positive and had been in contact with others. So I feel confident that, if that did happen, they've got something that could keep us racing. I don't think that would shut us down by any stretch, right now. So it's a day-by-day thing, though. It's very, very fluid, changes by the day. We get different updates each day as things progress and move forward and how things are working and going. So, I know we're all hoping for the best and hoping that we all stay safe and follow the protocols and, nothing will go wrong. So we'll kind of have to see how it goes.
Thanks.
And we'll take our final question for Erik from Gary Gastelou with Fox News Channel. Gary, please check your mute button on your phone. All right. Hearing no response, we'll go next. We'll take our final question from Scott Chansey with Florence Morning News.
Erik, considering near the end of a race, a pit crew execution can make all the difference in the world, how confident are you in how your pit crew can work together after having not had an in-race situation since March?
You're asking about the pit crew, right? And if, I feel like they're ready to go?
Yes.
I feel good. They've been able to get back in the shop and practice a little bit. It's been very staggered with kind of what we got to do for, following the social distancing policies we've got in place at JGR. So it's been a real staggered pit practice, and it's not really, much as they would practice normally. Will they be rusty? Yeah. I mean, every year we go to Daytona, the first race of the year, we're always a little rusty. The pit crews are, and it's not just them, it's us, it's crew chiefs, everybody's a little rusty. So, I don't see it being any different than that. These 2 months have been obviously a little bit longer than our normal off season, but they have got back to practice a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, I feel confident. Will there be slow stops and, maybe some issues here and there? Yeah, but I think that's everybody. But, I have confidence in my guys that want to get. The good thing is there's a lot of pit stops in Darlington. So they've got a lot of opportunities to go in and get it right and have a lot of practice. So they'll be rusty at first, but, I feel like they're going to get the hang of things here and get back in the swing of things pretty quickly.
Thank you.
Yep.
And actually, we've been rejoined by Gary Gastelou with Fox News. Gary, please go ahead.
Yeah, hey, so Darlington doesn't have the biggest grandstands, but they will be empty during the race in the car. How much is that going to matter to you?
You don't notice it really too much during your race. I mean, with us being in the race cars, obviously it's really loud and you're pretty tunnel vision as far as, what you're doing on the racetrack, what's in front of you, what's behind you. So you won't notice it then. I mean, the times you'll really notice it is pre and post race. I mean, getting in the race car, not having any fans, and, especially for the winner, having your celebration, obviously a big part of winning the race is celebrate not only with your team, but with the fans as well. So getting out and, doing the interview that we're going to do on the front stretch after the win will definitely be unique. I mean, and if you're doing a burnout, it's going to be unique as well. So, yeah, I mean, during your race, you don't notice a whole lot, but pre and post is when things will be definitely, a lot different than what we're normally used to.
I'll turn the call back over to Amanda.
All right, Erik, we appreciate you joining us, and we wish you the best of luck this weekend.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.